One night in New Orleans, I woke up next to a bunch of homeless people. You're about to learn about that and more in this week's interview. Giddy up!
The Fred Minnick Show is brought to you by 291 Colorado Whiskey and by Michter's.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Fred Minnick Show. Fred here. We got a great episode for you. You may remember Derek Trucks a while back. Well, Derek Trucks is out on tour with a band called Ponderosa Grove, and the lead singer for that is Candace Devine. Candace is my guest today. She is a whiskey-drinking, party-going, you know what? I really like Candace. She's the kind of person I connect with very quickly, and she is a great taster. We tasted through a flight of 2 rye whiskeys and 1 bourbon. And these are what they are. Get your pen out if you want to listen and know what we are tasting. Glass A is Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye, a straight barrel strength whiskey at 115 proof. Glass B is Liberty Pole High Rye Bourbon Pennsylvania Straight Bourbon Whiskey at 116.2 proof. And Glass C is Fort Hamilton, New York Straight Rye Whiskey, a single barrel at 90 proof. Now, we talk a little bit about Candace's music, and mostly we just get right into the tasting, and it was a fun time. I hope you enjoy this week's episode, but first, a word from our sponsors.
People want a great whiskey that isn't like every other whiskey. So nestled in the shadow of Pikes Peak, 291 Colorado Whiskey is distilled from grain to barrel to bottle. Exceptional Western whiskey, unlike any other. Passion permeates every sip. Utilizing grains from the Colorado Plains, water collected from Pikes Peak reservoirs, and finished with aspen staves, 291 Colorado Whiskey is an award-winning single barrel and small batch whiskey. Hard made the Colorado way. Our recipe, our stills, independent and always rugged, refined, and rebellious. 291 Colorado Whiskey is proud of its humble roots and excited as we expand to new frontiers. Get your taste of Colorado at 291coloradowhiskey.com. Online orders available or find a bottle near you. Ride it like you stole it. Drink it like you own it. Live fast. Drink responsibly.
At Michter's Distillery, our passion is making the finest bourbon, rye, and American whiskey possible. When you only produce very small batch and single barrel whiskey as we do, each and every barrel has to be perfect. No detail is too small for our production team. From careful attention to the 18-month or more air-dried wood used in the construction of our barrels, to entering our distillate into the barrel at the costlier lower barrel entry proof of 103 so that it's smoother, to heat cycling our barrel houses, to our signature filtration protocol, we spare no expense in pursuing our goal of making the greatest American whiskey. And no Michter's gets bottled until our master distiller, Dan McKee, and our master of maturation, Andrea Wilson, say it's just right. Michter's Fort Nelson Distillery in downtown Louisville, Kentucky is open for tours and tastings. Book your visit on our website and stop by the bar at Fort Nelson for a world-class cocktail. For more information, follow us on social media at Michter's Whiskey, go to Michters.com, or visit your favorite bartender. Michter's Distillery. It's all about the whiskey.
Stream the biggest movies and TV shows for free on Pluto TV. Watch movies like Titanic and G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra, plus TV shows like CSI and Star Trek: The Next Generation. Starting this month, check out the 24/7 Stargate channel exclusively on Pluto TV. Plus hundreds of channels and thousands of movies and TV shows absolutely free. Download the free Pluto TV app on your favorite streaming device and start watching today.
This is about something that lights your fire when nothing else will.
This is the Mark Devine Show. This show, we're going to discover and dive in and discuss what makes the world's most inspirational, compassionate, and resilient leaders so courageous.
Transform the nature and functioning of our own brain for the better.
Go put your virtues in action, be the best version of yourself.
Life is a practice. Day by day, get wiser and stronger and grow.
How do you understand enough about your own mind and psychology and emotions, and how you develop a reflective awareness practice to actually get in the driver's seat of your own mind?
We go in-depth with people from all walks of life. Martial arts grandmasters, meditative monks, CEOs, military leaders, stoic philosophers, proud survivors, and more. Every episode turns our guest experience into actionable insights that you can learn from to lead a life filled with compassion and courage.
I started putting all these little tools in my pocket, started to reflect a lot and meditate.
There has to be a balance between movement and rest.
It all starts with us. We cultivate these qualities in ourselves to become a beacon of light for others in the world. Please join us on the journey. The Mark Devine Show. Hoo-yah.
And joining the Fred Minnick Show is Candace Devine of Ponderosa Grove. How you doing, Candace? Good to see you.
I'm doing well, Fred. Nice to see you too.
So you're a whiskey fan, huh?
I am a whiskey fan, a whiskey gal. I don't know that I have your extensive knowledge, but I definitely love to partake and try new stuff.
Well, what it's worth, whiskey is just, you have actual real talent, like you're a musician. And, my only talent is drinking whiskey. So, so you actually have life skills that the world requests versus mine. And
well, I am thrilled with your life skills because that's going to make my life skills more enhanced and better.
Awesome. Now, what do you normally drink?
Water. Lots of water. But
nope.
I do love a great old fashioned.
Okay.
I do love a mint julep. I love a lot of bourbon based in general.
Okay.
And I like a good whiskey on the rocks. I'm not afraid of that kind of level either.
Got it. Well, today we're going to be playing around with some craft rye whiskeys. I sent you something from Pennsylvania called Liberty Pole. Now, they are going to be labeled A, B, and C. We are actually going to taste these and choose a champion out of this whole deal. Liberty Pole Spirits, which is a peated.
I don't think they have Liberty Pole.
No, what you should have is yours should just be labeled A, B, and C. So you're not going to know.
Got it.
You're not going to know what
I
you're
hear
tasting.
Yes.
But in order, so the audience is like, what the hell? I always just want to know, Yeah, so they get a little pissy if I don't tell them up front. But the other one is Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye. And that's out of Indiana. And then out of New York, Fort Hamilton Rye Whiskey. So, these have been poured for us and labeled A, B, and C. I have the tasting key right here. So once we are done tasting, I will reveal what we have and kind of go through a little bit of what they're all about. But I guess before we jump into the tasting, tell me a little bit about Ponderosa Grove. I know you all just had you all had a new single come out about a month ago, right? A couple months ago.
Yeah, we are what I like to call a band on the rise. We dropped a new single last month called Changin'. It's doing really well, which is very exciting. And we've been on the road opening for the Tedeschi Trucks Band, and we're going to be opening for the Talbot Brothers. Yeah. So we've been out and about all over the country.
Derek Trucks has been on the show, so next time you see Derek,
I know, and a big whiskey fan.
Yeah, he has actual bootleggers that he employs to bring him stuff. So, yeah, I was totally listening. Obviously, I listen to anyone who's listen to their music before they come on the show. But I remember listening to it, thinking like, I kind of feel like I should be in Vegas right now in a sports book, putting some money down on some horses. I just got that kind of Vegas vibe.
I'll take it. So I'll take it, especially because I'm also a horse girl, so I like that reference. We'll put some money on ponies and listen to my music. I'm here for it.
I love it. Well, we are going to be co-tasters today, Candace, and how this works is that we both we're going to taste the whiskey, and we're going to talk about it, and we're gonna rank them 1, 2, and 3. And you also should have received a bottle of 291 and mixers.
That I do have.
Yes,
I had both of those. Forgive my confusion at the beginning. I thought you were referencing one of those. That's why I was like, oh, I don't.
Yeah, I just jumped right into it. Like I'm like a horrible host. I just jumped right into it.
I caught up. I'm with you now.
Awesome. Well, I like to do a little training tasting. So what I'd like you to do is grab your mixers.
Okay.
Grab your bottle of mixers.
I got it.
Pour it in the glass. You're gonna need 3 glasses and probably some water. Or if you want to go back and forth on the same glass, that's fine too. Just rinse it out. So go ahead and pour.
Okay, now Fred.
Yes.
You're not going to find it problematic that I haven't eaten a whole lot, are you? I'm just kidding.
That might be problematic for you, if you drink the whole damn bottle. But let's try to.
I'm just teasing.
Let's try to.
We'll pace ourselves.
We'll pace ourselves. You'll be all right. All right. So pour yourself a little bit. Just one finger. So just about that much. Just
okay. I got you.
Quarter ounce.
I'm right there with you.
So, the journey of tasting whiskey begins by just kind of analyzing the color. And I'm actually working on a Lucky 7. You have a Michter's US1 bourbon. That's their standard product. But when bourbon goes into the barrel, it says clears the water from your tap. And every single day it's in that wood, it's moving in and out of the wood. And it gets all of its color and the majority of its flavor and aroma from the barrel. So that the color is kind of an indication of the tasting to come. So I really like to get people to look at what they're about to taste instead of just chugging it, right? And so just kind of take a little time, look at it a little bit. It's a nice yours should be a nice russet, amber color.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Swirled around a little bit. Bring it to your nose, and when you taste any kind of spirit, you want to smell with your mouth open. So just slightly open, just kind of go back and forth like so.
Yeah.
And use your nostrils differently. So go here, have a little bit of smell there. And then on that nostril, what you'll see is your nostrils work differently, so one nostril.
I was just going to say that. I know I know how many times you've been over this with people, but I was like, oh my God, I'm smelling different things. This is amazing.
Well, that's the beauty of it. That's what I love. I love educating people. And, it's something that it's a really beautiful process, and it's you can apply this to a lot of different things you smell, but smelling bourbon is absolutely unique, and you got to work it around the nose because you will pick up different aromas around your nose.
Totally.
Okay, so the first thing you're doing is you're looking for anything that's bad. So obviously there's not anything bad smelling in here, but the reason for that is if you smell something, that smells like dirty feet, you don't want to drink that. So believe it or not,
speak for yourself. No, I'm just kidding.
You like the taste of a good dirty foot. That's cool, Candace. All right.
Everybody's got their something, Fred. Everybody's got their something. No, I'm just kidding.
All righty then.
You have no idea. You're like, I'm sure she's a lovely lady. Now she's talking to me about dirty feet.
Listen, I know that once we get the first couple of whiskeys in us, it's gonna be lights out here. You're gonna be my troublemaker for the show. So. So after you've kind of focused on there's nothing negative there, now it's really kind of diving into what is it sweet? Is it floral? Is it fruity? Is it spicy? You know, kind of putting it kind of like a categorical aroma. And then when you taste it, you want to put it on your tongue, and you just want to like, you know, think about what part of the tongue is it hitting. On the tip of your tongue, you will notice like that's where the sweet spots are in spirits, like things like chocolates or like sugars, fruit sweets. In the middle is where we get our savory notes, so like crackers, banana bread, cornbread. So your breads will be right there in the middle. The bitterness is like a little line in between like the middle of the palate and the back of the palate. And bitterness is like, you know, like a dark chocolate can be like that. Some nuts can be bitter. The inside of a shell can be bitter. A lot of salads, a lot of vegetables can be bitter. And then spiciness is like toward the back. So, and the spice is it a baking spice? Is it a pepper spice? And you'll also taste some bitterness along the sides of the tongue. But so what I like to get people to do is to taste it and identify what part of the tongue is it hitting. And then from there, you know, go back and taste again and really focus on that region of the tongue and see if you can, you know, pull out a flavor from that area. So like if you're feeling it a lot on the tip of the tongue, then see about the different types of sweets that you are accustomed to. See if you know, detect any of those.
Okay.
So here we go.
My first thought is, ooh, I like it. My first thought is that's pretty good. I think the first taste to me, I think what I pick up the most is in that kind of forward sweetness area first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I get a little bit of like almost like a caramely with a small, maybe like figgy fruitness to it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have much in the spice realm. Like I don't have it of the back of the throat. I don't have anything coming up for me in like a, you know, cinnamony, spice, peppery thing. I would say it's more of that forward half of the tongue you talked about that I pick up more on.
Okay. So now that you've kind of got it like a feel for what part of the tongue this whiskey resonates on you, go back and really focus on that part of the tongue when you taste the second time. And, you know, think about all those flavors you've had in your life. You know, it's a mindfulness technique. So just think of like, what sweet note does this bourbon remind you of?
Yeah. It almost has, I think kind of in that fig note, there's like a hair of like a raisin prune-ish, like it's that caramel aftery taste kind of a thing. Okay. You know, when you eat kind of raisins, but it's fruity, but the part of the back end of that is almost a little caramely. It kind of tastes like that to me.
So a little sweet raisiny kind of caramely thing.
Yeah.
Well, Candace, that's a hell of a note right there. That's a good call out.
I was so worried you were going to be like, wow, sister,
no,
I only
great.
get grapefruit and lemons. You're way off.
No, well, actually, I'm not tasting that one. So, you know,
That's true. You're having a different one.
Yeah, you are. I can't, well, I've had that many times. I can't say I'm tasting something different right now, but so I will
say,
go ahead.
Sorry. Well, no, I was going to say, I will say that I feel like this would be a delightful over the rocks kind, because the sippability is so kind of caramely and for me sweet, but not overbearingly sweet, that it's something you could just, like, I wouldn't mix this, right? I wouldn't necessarily put this in a, you could, but like in an old fashioned or a mule or something of that, because it stands on its own really well.
Absolutely. Well, and now we have now we are going to jump into a lane that's very different than what you just tasted. We're going to Rye Whiskey. We're doing a flight of craft Rye Whiskey. And Rye Whiskey is a style of whiskey that is predominantly rye. So rye is a grain that used to be very widely planted in the United States. It lost its luster with the rise of corn, and corn kind of comes out, and farmers make more money off of it, and so they stop planting a lot of things, rye included. And so there's not a lot of places rye is grown in the United States. So a lot of rye is actually imported, from the likes of Finland and Germany and Sweden, and Canada. But the majority of the rye grown here is grown in the Dakotas. There's a little bit grown in California and Washington as well, and there's a lot of efforts to grow rye in various parts of the world right now. But rye can be made the rye whiskey can be made anywhere in the world, whereas bourbon can be only made in the United States. And so there's just a little bit that's different. But in terms of production style, it's still going into a new charred oak barrel. The majority of the grain is rye, obviously, and the distillation techniques are very similar to bourbon. So that's just a little kind of top view.
Now, Fred, may I ask you a question?
Sure,
is that okay? And I don't know if I'm getting this right. Like I said, I am nearly the expert you are on any level whatsoever. But I had heard, and I was like, you're the guy that can confirm this. Bourbon in Kentucky is pretty set to where it is in Kentucky because of the limestone, right?
So that is
is that part of the bourbon thing?
So when settlers originally came to Kentucky, they had really good access to clean water. The access to the clean water was basically, was filtered by limestone, and there's aquifers underneath, that feed into springs and so forth. And so settlers had really good access to it. Now, in the modern sense, the limestone story is very much a part of the nostalgia and the history of bourbon. But it doesn't matter as much today because everyone's using reverse osmosis with their water. And, but there's still something better about Kentucky water than, say, Florida water. But in comparing it to like Indiana and Tennessee, it's not as prevalent. It's not as noticeable. Okay. But yeah, so early on, absolutely, limestone was incredibly important. In the modern sense, not as much.
Thank you. I knew you would know the answer to that.
Candace, I'm here to help you. Whatever you need to know, I'm the guy. So now we go into our blind tasting. Let's do it. We're going into A. Actually, do you have 3 glasses with you or just one?
I have one, but I rinsed it out.
Okay.
I did a little but I can grab more if you want specifically 3.
Yeah, can you do that? That way we can pour them all 3 and you can do some compare and contrast. Yeah.
Let's do that. Hold on. I'm here with my 3 tasters.
All right. By the way, when you were running away, to get those, it was like watching Flash. It was like. So. Well,
just to be totally transparent, we're in the middle of moving, so I had packed. So I was like, "Which room did I put my glasses in? Oh my god!" So I went from the kitchen running back to the back bedroom and fortunately I kept our booze glasses, I guess, close by for an emergency. So I was able to break it and get them real quick.
But my whole point is like she runs sprints. She's fast.
Yeah, my legs are like a sewing machine. Just okay. I'm pouring one of each.
All right.
Into my.
So here goes Candace.
glassware.
She's pouring in each one of the glasses now.
Yes. Beautiful. A has been poured.
So when you are all set, let's do some whiskey tasting.
By the way, I have no doubt you've also heard this many times from past guests, but when your packaging arrived, initially because we were moving, my husband put it in the garage thinking, oh, this is a package for my wife. She's going to want this, and then never told me. But then when I got it and I opened it, what a beautiful... You're so pro. I was like, oh my gosh, did I win a Grammy? What's happening right now? Just kidding. Everything was so beautifully packaged and put together and prepared, and it made my whole day.
That's very kind of you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. So
do a great job. Okay, I'm ready.
You're ready to go. All right. So glacé, Candace, remember your training. This is like your vocal lessons early on, you know.
Mm-hmm. See, now already, funny enough, because I talked about the sweet notes on the mixtures.
This is definitely.
This also smells.
This is very sweet.
Sweet.
Smelling. Yeah. This is not nosing like a rye. A rye will very frequently nose like herbal and spicy. This is nosing like pancakes.
Yeah.
Pancakes and
I was going to say it's kind of syrupy and sugarcane-y smelling, like a simple syrup of sorts.
Am I getting in trouble with this one, I think. All right,
I know.
to the taste.
Okay.
Hot damn.
Oh, wow. Ooh, I like that.
That is beautiful.
I like that a lot. So smooth, too.
Yeah, and by the way, once again, these are all three small distillers, people who have leveraged their 401ks, big borrowed money to start their companies.
Their passion, right.
Yeah, so these are
whoever this fine folks are,
whoever did glacé,
I have to say, I'm into it. Like, this is another one that stands on its own. I think I would even maybe this might be a little bit a little too full of bravado on my end, but I would say this is even something I would sip as like an after dinner drink because of the sweetness.
Yeah.
Like it would be a good nightcap version.
So,
of a rock sport.
I like to push musicians to think about the whiskey like they do their music. So, if this whiskey were a musical instrument, what would it be?
Oh, I love that question. My knee-jerk reaction was to say kind of like it didn't match my brainy thought on the aftermath, but my knee-jerk reaction was to say like a cello, mainly because it has kind of a full body feel to it, and the sweetness is so homey the way a cello feels. But I also think of a cello in like big, broad strokes and almost melancholy. And this doesn't feel melancholy to me. It feels almost a little bit more like late summer. It feels like something you might sip on a porch, which maybe is a little more lighthearted than a cello. So instrumentation, I don't know, maybe a warm violin.
I was going to throw out standing bass. Warm violin.
Yeah.
Like cello's in the same kind of, presentation, kind of big, giant instruments.
Yeah, I would say I could see that too on the standing bass. The only thing that kept me from saying standing bass is the back end of it. It's so smooth, and I feel like a a base has a little bit more punch and bite on the back end, but that's just the way my brain works. But I totally see where you were going with that. It's delightful. And I love a standing upright bass. So we're in good shape there.
I will say that I think Glace is going to be hard to beat. But
it's really good.
We do have 2 more to taste. So
the day is young, Fred. The day is young.
The day is young. So rinse your palate out.
Yep, I've got my water.
Just a little water there, get that. And if you can't taste or feel the water on your tongue, you've probably been drinking too much. So, but I think we're in good shape right now.
I can say it's promptly 12:30. This is my first alcohol for the day, so we're in good shape.
You know what? It's 3:30 for me, and it is mine too. Which that's saying something.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
All right, are we picking up B?
Going to B.
Okay.
Definitely a different approach on the nose.
Oh, yeah.
This is getting a little funky, getting on up in there a little bit.
Yeah, this has like a...
It's not quite the dirty feet smell you were craving earlier, but it's got some unique nose here.
See, this one smells, and this is going to be a weird description, but my immediate knee jerk on this one was like the smell of New Orleans.
That's a good call out.
Means, but
yeah, I mean, there's
just
I think it's like
a little less sweet.
What part of day in New Orleans is it? Like 3:00 in the morning? Which, by the way,
right. Well, I was going to say, I think part of please.
I was going to say, my first New Orleans story. I'm 19 years old. We go. I'm down there with my fraternity, and we go to Bourbon Street. We're in one of these like clubs. I swear to this day, somebody slipped me a roofie. And
I believe you. That's happened to me.
And I woke up next to some homeless guys, in like the trash area, and the bus was about to leave, and my best friend like found me, and like carried me back to the van. And then when we got off the van, we were staying at LSU. When we got off the van, cops were like waiting there for us, and they started pepper spraying people coming out of the out of the van.
Now that is a left turn I did not see.
It was wild. The guys coming off of the bus, they pissed off the hotel or threatened them or something, but they did something to warrant the pepper spray. But I got roofied in New Orleans,
Louisiana, in my heart.
Yeah, I go to New Orleans all the time. I love it. It is fun.
Yeah.
Wait, so, you said that happened to you? You said that happened to you too?
Well, I didn't ever wake up next to homeless people, get on a bus, and get sprayed with pepper spray. But I did. I was out with a night with friends, and I, as well as so do they. But I believe I was roofied. Like hours and hours and hours of our evening went by with no recollection. And fortunately, I was surrounded by friends. But I definitely came to like trying to jump a gate. I was trying to break into my own house because I had, logically locked all my doors. And that's when I, for lack of a better, woke up. Like I was trying, but I was still operating. I never passed out, but I was operating in like this blackout, unconscious kind of a state, even though I was walking and talking and with people. I have a whole gap in my brain on that, 8 to 10 hours of my existence.
It is weird.
So there you go.
I had like, my whole thing is like it, there's the feeling of drunk, and then there's the feeling of like everything is like, it follows with you. Like it's like a blurred image. It was so weird, but
I'm glad. Super strange for me too.
I am so glad like you're okay. Nothing happened. But man, I don't know why people do that shit. They can go fuck off.
I don't either. And I don't even know if it was meant for me, honestly. Like I feel like maybe some of wherever I was, the bartenders were, and just kind of, when they're moving fast, or maybe somebody at the bar, because I was never not with my group of friends, mixed male and female. I was never not, so I had people taking care of me, but they thought I was really drunk, was what their interpretation of me was. But I had only had one drink and I didn't finish it. So it was one of those like, that's just and I've never behaved in that manner since, where I was seemingly very drunk to other people, but I just have a blackout window, so I know it's real. I mean, that's my best guess, is I got somebody's roofie from somewhere, but it's a very bizarre thing. When you do wake up, you're like, I'm here, I'm present. The whole evening feels like this weird fog that I can't really piece together, but I know I'm okay. It's very bizarre.
Well,
anyway, should we get back to our tasting?
That's a great segue for Glass B.
The roofie, the bee, the roofie. No, I won't put that on those poor people.
Well, you brought up New Orleans, so that
I know,
New Orleans took me down the weird ass path that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the New Orleans. I think for me, the thing that made me think New Orleans is that it has less sweetness on the nose, a little, maybe a hint of more sour or citrus, maybe. Not citrus, just less sweet. But it just feels like a night with some humidity in New Orleans.
Let's just say whoever's this is, I apologize in advance that we connected you to roofies.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Sorry.
It was just an anecdote of the city. It wasn't had nothing to do with the whiskey itself.
Definitely doesn't smell like roofies. You guys. And here we go. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, that's
So this one, it has more back end for like the back of the like a little bit more of the pepper.
Mm-hmm. Definitely tons.
Has a little bit more
of spice.
Spice, right? Right.
With some smoke on this, that's just gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I get like a. You ever had one of those fried cherry pies from McDonald's?
No, but that sounds really good.
It reminds me of one of those fried cherry pies. It's like really, really good.
It's really good. It makes me, this is super random, Fred. Welcome to the hanging out with Candace Devine. To me, I want to be on a ship. I feel like it is the wind in your hair, but it has that spice that makes the adventure exciting. Does that make sense? Am I talking like a lunatic? It's okay. I'm a couple sips deep.
I mean,
it tastes like adventure.
The interesting mind of Candace Devine here is what is on full display. It does taste quite a bit like adventure. It's got some. This has a lot of fruit and smoke kind of going back and forth for me. I'm really a fan.
I really like it. I don't think I'm articulating it well at all, but I really like it. Maybe, yeah. To your point, I think when I originally was like, it has a little more of the citrus. That's that fruitiness. You say it so much better than I do, but you're an expert, so I'm going to not be too hard on myself. I did
stay at a Holiday Inn Express, so,
No, I like this one a lot, though.
Your comedy routine's bad when you have to dip into commercials from 15 years ago. So, yeah. Thank you for the...
you're making me laugh left and right, Fred. I think your comedy routine is working just fine.
It's the alcohol, Candace.
Somebody's going to listen to this and be like, she laughs a lot and says a whole lot of stupid things.
They can suck it. Okay. Fuck those guys. right, so I'm going to go.
This one's good.
I'm going back to. I'm
so
going
far,
back
I'm
to
pleasantly
A.
surprised.
You know, this is kind of like
Okay.
the fun part of being like the critical analysis kind of thing.
Right. Okay. Oh, so much sweeter.
Yeah, A versus B, completely night and day.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to jump into C.
Okay.
Remember your training.
Okay. I'm working on it. Interesting.
Little oaky here. Got some oak going on.
Yeah. I'm learning as I go the terminology. I was going to say woodsy, but yeah, oaky is probably better.
You know, this has got a kind of a sour gummy kind of thing to it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm going to take a very quick sip of water and taste it again. Less spice or peppery spice, but yeah, it has a slight like more, I guess sour is the right word, a more sour-ish lean.
Yeah. It reminds me of like the sour worms my son gets, the sour gummy candies that he gets. Yeah, I'm totally digging it, but I don't think it has the depth of A and B. I think A and B.
I was just gonna say I don't think it has the same body, and that's probably depth is probably a better word.
Well, it's just not.
It feels a little more one-dimensional comparatively.
Yeah, it's outstanding in its own right, but I think A and B are just punching above it.
Yeah.
So now
I think they are just a little more well-rounded. Maybe.
Yeah,
this
I think
one
that's
is
a good way to put it.
Less dimensional.
And now we need to crown a champion.
Okay.
Go back to A and B.
Ooh, that's tough. That is tough because it's okay. Oh man, I still love A. Okay, I'm going back to B.
Yep, I know where I'm going.
Have you picked your winner? You've done it already?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
But I don't want to rush you, you know?
No, I think I'm ready. I think I'm prepared.
Okay.
I believe that I have made my assessment. Do you want my answer now, or do you
go ahead.
Go first?
Go ahead.
Do you need me to list my whys? Like why I picked
let's
what
go.
I picked?
Tell me what your favorite is and why.
Okay. I picked the one that for me feels the most routinely drinkable. Ooh. So the one that I went with is A. And I think that for me, the slightly sweeter notes and the kind of roundness of it and the slightly less spicy is something that I would drink more often.
Well, it just so happens our palates are highly aligned today. I also picked A as my favorite. So the order goes, I think, for both of us, is A is your victor, B is second.
Yep.
And I think it ended up being a distant second, but it was still a pretty strong taster. And then C, very drinkable, very likable, but just not there for me today. So
not quite as robust.
Yeah, let's find out what these bad boys are.
Yeah, let's find out. Oh, I'm so excited. I lined up with a pro. This is so cool.
Okay, so glass A is this Hard Truth Distilling. This is a sweet mash mash bill 1, batch size 30. This is batch 3, and it is fantastic. That is fantastic whiskey.
Well done to all.
Yeah.
I'll
So
be getting
kudos
myself
for
one of
that
those.
one. Glass B was Liberty Pole. This actually is a bourbon. This is a high rye bourbon. So this was a bourbon. I said it was rye earlier. It's a bourbon, but with a lot of rye in it. And then C was Fort Hamilton, which this actually made my top 100 last year. The rye did. So yeah. So I mean,
also
that
delicious. There were none of these that I was like, ooh, I wouldn't drink that. I mean, not that you would bring on anything you wouldn't drink, but I mean, they were all
believe it or not,
in their own lane.
I have sent people stuff that was like vintage and like really old, and we would taste it. With Charles Woodson, who's an NFL Hall of Famer, I think I said we both agreed that he said it tasted like a 1940s locker room, smelled like jock straps. You know, it was.
Oh, so I like Dirty Feet. He likes jockstrap. Oh, I don't know if he liked it, but
you know, I mean, he played in the NFL for a long time, so jock straps were a thing. So
it's nostalgic. It brings it back.
Yeah,
to
Dirty
his,
Feet, jock straps. I mean, we're just going all over the place here today. Roofies, good Lord. But yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Never a dull moment, Fred.
Never a dull moment, Candace. Yeah, I love it. So A was a pretty clear-cut winner for both of us. And it reminds you of a cello. I think that was your instrument, right? Was the cello. Now, do you have a
which I may still continue to fine tune, but that was my out of the gate response.
Do you have a song that Glass A, or now we know is Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye, reminds you of?
Give me 1 second. I love that game. A song. I definitely feel like with some of the notes, remember I said a cello was a little more melancholy, and this feels a little more summery and sweeter to me. So I would probably lean musically into kind of it's a mix between like Southern rock soul and the happiness of Motown to me. So maybe somewhere in there, like an Etta James, somebody with that rockness power, but still holds the soul, but still gives you that late afternoon, evening, summer breeze of wonder and nostalgia. Maybe an Etta James. I think maybe number one is an Etta James for me.
I dig that.
Sorry, I had to work through that process. I had to get there.
No, that's great. You that was well played. So you know what's new coming up? You talked a little earlier about you're on tour right now with Derek and
Tedeschi Trucks.
Yeah, tell us what's going on.
We are getting ready. We just dropped a single, like you said, just a couple weeks ago, it seems. We have a record coming out. We're going to be releasing that probably late May or the first week of June-ish. That's the tentative slate at the moment. And awesome. We are getting ready to play the Pure Imagination Music Festival in Prescott, Arizona, which I am very personally fond of because I'm putting it on. So I'm super excited about the festival. We have many dates. If people are so inclined, please look up ponderosagrove.com. All of our dates are listed there. We're going to be opening for the Talbot Brothers, opening for Tedeschi Trucks some more. We're going to be doing a run from New York and Nashville and Georgia and Tennessee soon, as well as a West Coast run up California into Seattle and Portland area. So we just have lots of dates coming, new music coming, and, we just want be out there mixing with people now that we're kind of winding down to a safe post-COVID-ish environment. We're just excited to be out with people, honestly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, how can people find you all on social media? What handles should they be looking for?
Thank you. Yeah, just about everything. Facebook is Ponderosa Grove Music. You can find us at Ponderosa Grove Music. I believe there's also a campsite called Ponderosa Grove. So if you don't add the music, you're going to find a beautiful place
and
to pitch
a steakhouse. There's a chain of steakhouses called Ponderosa. So,
there is?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
You all should go do like they could have like a restaurant opening, and you all could like open the restaurant for them, like.
Yeah, or we could write them a theme song or something. Yeah. Any of the above. We'll take it. So yes, Ponderosa Grove Music on Facebook. Pretty much everything else, Instagram, Ponderosa Grove, Twitter, Ponderosa Grove, on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, anywhere you stream music, Ponderosa Grove, and our website is ponderosagrove.com.
Love it. Well, thanks for coming on. Sorry about the technical difficulties early on. Glad we got them hammered out, and I look forward to the world listening to this incredible palate of yours.
Thank you.
Break down some whiskey.
Yeah, that part. I mean, I feel like a very large fish out of water, but I have enjoyed it immensely, and I love just your knowledge and what you're doing, and I love a good whiskey drink. So it's been even more fun to learn more about a good whiskey drink, and I'm so thankful to know how to carry myself in tasting rooms with whiskey. I'm going to give the nostril. And
you just step right in there and like say, you can just give yourself the nickname. This is Candace the Nostril. I'm here. Let's go.
Yeah. And I'm going to say I've been educated by Fred Minnick, and therefore
You might get kicked out.
A paralleled. Yeah.
You might get kicked out at that point.
I'll be a tangent expert from the real expert. I'll be a what do they call it when you're like expert adjacent?
Yeah. Apprentice or like osmosis or something, but hey, I really appreciate you coming on. It was great hanging out with you. I look forward to having a toast with you in person, and if you see Derek, tell him I said hi.
I will see him soon, and I will be sure to do exactly that. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been so much fun.
Absolutely.
This is really just such a blast.
Cheers. Well, be safe out there, and remember, Candace, vodka.
Cheers to you, fine sir.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you like this week's episode, let us know. Go give Ponderosa Grove a follow. Let them know that you heard him here heard Candace here on the Fred Minnick Show, and let them know what you think about their music. I think that it makes musicians feel good about what they're doing. But in all seriousness, folks, this Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye, holy cow, is it good. They, Hard Truth made my top 100 last year, and for good reason. This one is right there in that same vein of awesomeness. It's batch 3 Sweet Mash Rye from Hard Truth out of Indiana. That's going to do it for this week, folks. Be safe out there. Remember, no licking handrails, no licking trash cans, and vodka sucks unless it's being used for hand sanitizer. Cheers, everybody.
You've been listening to The Fred Minnick Show, brought to you by 291 Colorado Whiskey and by Michter's. For more information about Fred's books, articles, and more, just go to fredminnick.com.
Stream the biggest movies and TV shows for free on Pluto TV. Watch movies like Titanic and G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra, plus TV shows like CSI and Star Trek: The Next Generation. Starting this month, check out the 24/7 Stargate channel exclusively on Pluto TV. Plus hundreds of channels and thousands of movies and TV shows absolutely free. Download the free Pluto TV app on your favorite streaming device and start watching today.